Hey there YouTube, and welcome to Ask a Maestro. Today's video is another in my interview series with real live working musicians, and today we've got a dual interview with my friends Adrienne Doctor and Barret Newman. Adrienne and Barret are both trumpet players, and they are both members of the U.S. Army's ceremonial bands. Adrienne plays with the Army Band, Pershing's Own, and Barret plays with the ceremonial Fife and Drum Corps. We started off by talking about their backgrounds in music and how they came to get where they are now.
Starting in about 6th grade, I started really being interested in majoring in music, and I think my ultimate goal was to play in the Pittsburgh Symphony just because that was the orchestra that I grew up going to see. But I also, throughout high school, kept other options open, and I didn't decide that I would go into music 100% until I had to make my college decision.
Joined the band in 6th grade, picked up the trumpet. Junior year and senior year of high school, I went to an arts high school, so I got to take lessons for the first time and actually sort of be surrounded by a lot of creative and like-minded people. And that sort of inspired me to go on and study music in college.
I didn't consider joining a military band until the 2nd year of my master's. There was a group of trumpets from the Army Band that came and did a master class at the University of Cincinnati, and I was just really impressed by how professional they were and how great musicians they were. So I said, well, I might as well try. If I win the audition and I get rejected because of my knee problems, at least I gave it a shot. And that's kind of what they echoed as well. It was kind of a struggle to join. I did run into issues with my knee problems, but it all worked out and I made it through basic training and my knees are doing just fine now. So that was something I was worried about, but it ended up not really being a huge issue.
Getting to the audition is not so tough, but preparing for the audition, practicing and feeling like you can actually be competitive is a whole other thing. And I feel like for me, it took me a long time before I felt comfortable sitting in the chair in the audition room and being able to play well. So there's a lot of frustration that comes along with it at first because, for me, and I think a lot of people, performance anxiety and nerves are a big factor. So it's hard to feel like you can really play at your best, play comfortably in your first handful of auditions. Usually, as with an orchestra audition, they will be blind behind a screen. You're going to play through different rounds of the audition, depending if you advance. There'll be a preliminary round, and semifinals, and then maybe finals. So weeding out people as you go along. So part of the audition did involve a marching assessment as well as an actual standing test, for a half-an-hour standing test, just to make sure that you would be physically capable of doing the job.
I was surprised by a lot of things in basic training. I was actually surprised about how easy it was. That sounds a little bit arrogant, but there's a whole lot of sitting around and waiting. I was expecting just like 24/7 push-ups and running, but there was a lot of sitting around.
The biggest thing for me was the monotony. But I think musicians are sort of set up to be successful in basic training. They're hardworking people by nature. If you've been offered one of these kind of a job, you're going to probably do pretty well at basic training. So it's not fun by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not so bad.
Every day there are between 8 and 14 Army funerals in the cemetery. We also play taps at the Tomb of the Unknowns. Other than that, we perform ceremonies at the Pentagon, a few at the White House. We do retirement ceremonies.
Once you get that job, you have access to free health care and all sorts of other military benefits. In a stable location, you're not going to be moved around. You get to play some really interesting jobs. There's a lot of high-profile things, whether, like I said, it's for a White House arrival or playing concerts for visiting dignitaries or playing at Arlington Cemetery or that kind of thing.
One thing that I really like about the ceremonial band job, though, is that I do get opportunities to play with other units in the Army Band, such as the concert band. I've played with the Army Blues a couple of times. There are also a lot of chamber concerts that go on throughout the year. I've played with the brass quintet a couple of times. So there's a lot that can be done besides doing the ceremonies.
There's not a lot of variety, musical variety. You're not going to be playing the great composers. We have physical fitness tests every 6 months. We have weigh-ins every 6 months. We might have to sit through a training seminar or presentation on land operations. Everybody in our group does have some secondary responsibilities, whether it's social media, marketing, production, actually arranging the music, administrative things, operations, getting trips set up, So there's all kinds of other secondary jobs. Even in our group, uniform maintenance is a big thing. We wear the colonial uniform, so we have a wig shop that makes sure all the wigs and the hats and everything are maintained. We're considered to be non-deployable, so our job is in DC, supporting ceremonies and events in the capital region. Some of the regular Army bands can be deployed, and we know some people who have been. Usually, they're maybe going over the Middle East in support of the troops or morale building, or even in some cases, bands are called on to do security for bases overseas and that kind of thing. There are strings. There's enough to fill out a string orchestra, a chamber orchestra. There's a jazz band, the Army Blues. There's a chorus, and there are also rock bands too. It really runs the gamut.
Okay, YouTube, that is it for this episode of Ask a Maestro. Thank you so much to my friends Adrienne and Barret for coming onto the show today. Please feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, leave your questions about the world of classical music in the comments below. Until next time, go play an instrument, sing a song, and give me 20. And until then, goodbye everyone.